Let's talk about consent in terms we all understand. Do you like to ski or snowboard? Great! Let's talk about snowboards and sex. If you asked, "Can I borrow your snowboard?" I might say, "Heck yeah! I trust you to borrow my snowboard." So you'd borrow my snowboard, you'd return it to me, and we'd continue to be bros who shred pow together. Or maybe if you asked, "Can I borrow your snowboard?" I might be hesitant and say, "I don't know. I'm not sure, man." And you could admire my board while we ride the mountain together or when we're on the lift. But you wouldn't steal my snowboard. Just because you want to use my snowboard doesn't mean you're entitled to ride my snowboard. And if I say no to using my snowboard, then you probably shouldn't ask again. If I change my mind and decide to let you borrow my snowboard, I'll tell you. Don't get annoyed that I won't let you borrow my snowboard. Don't text me incessantly about my snowboard. Don't send me a picture of your snowboard to get me to send you a picture of my snowboard. And just because you show me your snowboard doesn't mean I'll show you mine. Maybe I once said you could borrow my snowboard, but then while you were getting your boots on, I changed my mind before I handed it over and no longer wanted you to borrow my snowboard. You might be kind of annoyed because you had planned on using my snowboard on a 12-inch powder day, but I don't have to give you my snowboard because it's my snowboard. Even though I once said yes, and even if I let you borrow my snowboard before, I now say no. I changed my mind and that's okay. People change their mind. Let's say you come over to my place after work to have a few drinks, and now I'm tipsy, or even sloshed. Now is not the time to ask if you can borrow my snowboard or just take my snowboard. I am drunk and cannot tell you whether or not I want you to borrow my snowboard. Just because you see my snowboard and I might not remember you taking it, that doesn't mean you are entitled to take my snowboard, even if I drunkenly agree. Anything other than a sober and enthusiastic yes is a hard no. A real bro will make sure my snowboard and I are safe, and leave it at that. Just because I let you borrow my snowboard that one time doesn't mean you should ask to borrow my snowboard all the time. I don't want you to undo my bindings while I'm riding my snowboard. I don't want you to come over unannounced to take my snowboard. I don't want you to take my snowboard just because I invited you to hang out. I don't want you to touch my snowboard while no one's looking, and I don't want you to take my snowboard just because I texted you, "Hey." Let's say you see your buddy trying to take my snowboard and I don't seem comfortable with it. What do you do? It wouldn't be very cool of you to just watch someone take my snowboard if it looks like I don't want them to. Or if I'm drunk or high or if I'm unconscious. I know, maybe you don't want to get involved or it just seems easier to stay out of it, but come on. If someone tried to take your snowboard and you weren't into it, wouldn't you want a bro to step in and help? I think so. And if you're one of those people who says, "Nah man, I'm good, I can handle myself, I don't need any help," well that's great. But not everyone can say that, so rack up some points with Uller here and step in to help. You'll be a real bro if you do. Now I bet you're wondering, how am I supposed to slide into your snowboard conversation without looking like a Jerry? And if you don't know what a Jerry is, well, you might be one, but that's a topic for another sesh. It's easy. Just ask to talk to me for a sec. Pull me to the side and say, "Hey man, are you sure you're okay with that dude borrowing your snowboard?" It's totally cool if you're not. And if I say, "I'm actually not cool with it," Then you can hang out with me and I'll tell the other guy to bugger off. And maybe when you ask, I say I'm okay with the other guy borrowing my snowboard. And in that case, remember your helmet and have a great ride. We may be talking about snowboards now, but the same goes for sex. Consent is cool and absolutely necessary every single time.